Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise to get you the real insights on today's big topics. And well, AI is definitely one of those. Think about it. It's kind of everywhere now, isn't it? Working away behind the scenes, helping banks spot fraud, helping researchers develop medicines, even playing a role in your credit score. It's really woven into so many things. But okay, what happens when these really powerful systems, often feeling like a bit of a black box, get something wrong? Or worse, make a decision that's biased or, unethical? That brings us to today's topic, AI auditing. And it's not just some technical term for specialists, it's actually a critical process. It's about making sure these systems are safe, fair, and playing by the rules. So our mission today, let's unpack this. We're diving into a comprehensive guide on AI auditing. We'll look at what needs checking, when it needs checking, and maybe most importantly, why it matters so much to, well, basically everyone affected by AI. We've gathered insights from industry guides, regulatory ops best practices, trying to get you the clearest picture. So let's start with the big why.
Why isn't AI auditing just a sort of optional extra? Especially in sensitive areas like finance, crypto, pharma. Why is it a must-do?
That's exactly the right place to start, because the risks of not auditing AI, they're really significant. We're not talking small stuff. You could be looking at huge fines, lawsuits, actual patient harm in healthcare, PR disasters, and something really fundamental, losing public trust. AI isn't just a helper tool anymore, right? For many places, it's making core critical decisions. If that AI makes a bad call, biased, non-compliant, whatever the fallout can be massive.
Right, not just a ripple, like you said, more like a tidal wave.
Precisely. And that's why audits are key. They aren't a one-off thing you do at the start. It's a regular, ongoing process. It's about constantly checking, does this AI align with the rules? Is it actually doing what we think it's doing? And crucially, is it fair? Is it secure? Is it transparent? It's about building in that safety and reliability and then keeping an eye on it continuously.
Okay, so let's bring this home for our listener. Maybe you're not building AI models yourself, but you're definitely interacting with them probably every day, maybe without even thinking about it. Your loan application, maybe a medical diagnosis tool, AI is involved. So why should you personally care if that AI is being properly audited? What's the stake for you?
Fundamentally, it comes down to trust and fairness. You expect systems dealing with your money or your health to be accurate and treat you fairly.
Right.
If an AI is, say, unfairly denying loans to one group of people because its training data was skewed.
Which can happen easily.
Exactly. Or it misdiagnoses something because of similar bias.
Right.
Well, those are real harms to real people. Auditing is how we get accountability. It's the check. It verifies the AI isn't just working, but working fairly and transparently. That translates directly into whether you, as someone interacting with it, can actually trust it.
That makes total sense. Knowing there are checks for fairness, for accuracy, that directly affects our confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The guide we looked at breaks down AI auditing into 7 key areas, 7 pillars, if you like, for AI integrity.
Absolutely. Think of them like the main inspection points. You wouldn't fly a plane without checking the engines, the wings, the controls. It's similar here. Each pillar covers a different risk or requirement. Let's walk through them, what each one is, why it's critical, and roughly when these checks happen. So first up, training data and data governance. This is foundational. Are we sure the data used to train the AI is high quality? Was it sourced legally? Labeled correctly? If you teach someone with a faulty textbook, they won't learn properly. Same idea.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically. Exactly. But it's more than just accuracy. It's about rigorously screening for bias in that data. Does it properly represent everyone the AI will affect? If it's making decisions about people, the data needs to reflect that diversity. We also need to check things like consent records, privacy measures, and something called data lineage.
Okay, hold on. Data lineage. Can you unpack that a bit? What does that mean in practice?
Sure. Data lineage is basically the data's life story. Where did it come from originally? How was it collected? What changes were made to it along the way? Where did it go? It's like tracking its provenance. This is vital for ensuring its integrity, making sure it wasn't messed up or misused, and for proving compliance with rules like GDPR or IPC about how data is handled.
Got it. Like a chain of custody for data.
Pretty much. So why audit this pillar? Simple. Bad data biased, misclassified whatever, poisons the whole model. It creates huge legal risks, especially in regulated areas like finance or health. When do you do this? Definitely before you deploy the model. And then anytime you change your data sources or add significant new data.
Makes sense. Get the foundation right first. So once the data's solid, what's pillar number 2?
Number 2 is model fairness and bias testing. Okay, you've got your data. Now you need to really test the AI's outputs. Run specific fairness tests. Does it perform consistently across different groups? Men versus women, different age groups. different ethnicities.
So checking for unintended discrimination.
Precisely. You also need to validate its performance accuracy, recall all those metrics, and importantly, you need to document what steps you took to reduce bias and make the model transparent. Why? Because regulators demand this now. It's not optional. In finance, think about rules like SR 11-7.
Right, you mentioned that one.
Yeah, it's really specific about validating models and proving fairness. You have to show your work, mathematically demonstrate your lone AI isn't discriminating. That's a big deal. Same in healthcare, fairness in diagnosis or treatment is obviously critical. When?
Yeah.
Typically at deployment, and then at least once a year. Maybe more often for really high-risk models.
Okay, so it's not just what it does, but how fairly it does it.
Got it.
Once you're confident there, what's next? Looking at the actual decisions.
Exactly. Pillar 3, decision outputs and explainability. This is about checking the AI's actual predictions and decisions in the wild, and using tools you might hear names like Esche or Lime to understand how the AI reached a particular decision.
SAP and Lime. I've heard those terms. Can you give us a quick version? What do they actually do?
Yeah, good question. Think of them like special tools to peek inside that black box. They help figure out which bits of information the AI paid most attention to when it made a decision. So if an AI denied a loan, Esche might show that, say, the applicant's debt level was the biggest factor, or maybe their income. It helps humans understand the AI's reasoning instead of just accepting the output. Makes sense?
Yeah, it provides the why behind the what. Very useful.
Definitely. So you use these tools, you monitor for strange results, flag unexpected patterns. Why? Well, more and more rules are giving people a right to explanation. If you can't explain why your AI did something, that's a huge red flag for auditors and bad for trust. This tends to be continuous monitoring plus deeper checks periodically.
Right, you need to be able to show you're working. Okay, that's critical. What about keeping the whole thing secure?
That's pillar 4, security, privacy, and access. This is all about controlling who gets to touch what, who can see the sensitive data, who has permission to retrain the model, who can change its settings.
Like having the right keys to the right doors.
Exactly. It means checking encryption, privacy protocols, keeping detailed logs of who accessed what and when, and having clearly defined roles for users. The why is obvious. Data leaks, especially patient or financial data, are catastrophic. Huge compliance risk, huge reputational damage. Audits here, usually quarterly or whenever staff changes or systems are updated.
Makes sense. That pillar alone feels like it could bring down a company if you mess it up. What's pillar 5?
Pillar 5 is documentation and governance. Okay, this might sound a bit dry, but trust me, it's vital. It means keeping detailed records, things called model cards, data sheets, logs of all changes, risk assessments.
Okay, model cards and data sheets. What are those exactly? Like instruction manuals?
Sort of, yeah. A model card is like a short summary or spec sheet for the AI. What's it for? How well does it perform? What are its limits? Any ethical flags? Who built it? And a data sheet does the same for the training data. Where did it come from? What's in it? Any known biases? How should it be used? They're both about transparency, helping people understand the AI and its data.
Okay, like nutritional labels for AI.
Got it. Good analogy. So this pillar also includes keeping an up-to-date list of all your AI systems, tracking versions, recording ethical reviews, committee decisions, the whole paper trail. Why is this so crucial? Because missing documents are a top reason audits fail. If you can't show how you built it, how you tested it, how you manage it, auditors get very nervous. This documentation needs constant updating and reviewing before any audit.
Wow. So no documentation is basically admitting you don't know what's going on. That makes the next pillar even more important, I bet.
It does. Pillar 6, human oversight and accountability. This is key. It means ensuring humans are still in the loop for critical decisions. AI shouldn't just be running things completely on its own without checks. You need to clearly define who owns each model, who's responsible for its results, who signs off on its outputs. And you need to log every time a human reviews or overrides an AI decision and why they did it. Why? Because AI isn't a scapegoat. At the end of the day, people are responsible for the systems they use. This oversight prevents automation running wild without anyone being accountable. It's ongoing with checks to make sure it's happening.
That's such a critical point. The buck still stops with a human. Okay, one pillar left. What's number 7?
The 7th pillar is third-party tools and APIs. Look, most companies don't build every single AI component themselves. They often use external models, tools from vendors, connect via APIs.
Right, pulling in expertise or components from elsewhere.
Exactly. So this pillar is about checking those external pieces. You need to review them, demand transparency, and audit info from your vendors. And your contracts need to be really clear about compliance, data handling, and their responsibilities. The big takeaway: you are responsible for those third-party tools too, even if you didn't build them. If a vendor's tool used in your system is biased or insecure, you can still be held liable. So review these before you start using them and then check in at least annually.
That's a really comprehensive breakdown of the what. It shows just how deep these audits need to go. But like you said earlier, it's not a one-time thing. The timing is just as important, right?
Absolutely. Timing is critical. There are generally 4 main cadences we talk about. First, pre-deployment. That's before you launch a model or before you retrain it with significant new data. It's your final check. Second, a regular cadence. Usually a full audit once a year for most models, but for high-risk ones, finance, health, safety, maybe quarterly or twice a year. Third is continuous monitoring. This isn't a formal audit, but it's using automated tools to watch for things like data drift or model drift, weird results, drops in accuracy.
Hang on, data drift. What does that mean here?
Good question. Data drift is when the real-world data the AI sees starts looking different from the data it was trained on. Imagine training an AI on customer behavior from before the pandemic, and now it's trying to predict post-pandemic behavior. The world changed. The data drifted. Its predictions might get worse.
Okay, so the ground shifted under the AI's feet.
Exactly. And model drift is when the model's own performance degrades over time for various reasons. Continuous monitoring catches this stuff early. And fourth, you have event-based audits. These happen after something specific occurs, like a major failure, a big drop in performance, a large system update, or very importantly, when new regulations come out that affect your AI.
That really makes it clear. It's a living process, constantly adapting, not just ticking a box once a year. Okay, so connecting this back out, these general principles, fairness, transparency, security, they play out differently depending on the industry, right? The specifics really hit home there.
Yes, exactly. The core ideas are the same, but how you apply them varies a lot. Take finance. We mentioned SR 11-7 for model validation. Fair lending laws mean they have to do rigorous bias testing on credit models. Proof is required. They also need detailed records of human overrides and must be able to explain AI recommendations. You can't just tell someone the computer said no for their loan.
Right, the stakes are high, the rules are strict.
Then look at cryptocurrency. Here, AML KYC anti-money laundering. Know your customer is huge. If an AI flags transactions, you need solid audit trails showing why. Otherwise, you risk facilitating crime or unfairly blocking users. Plus, verifying that trading bots or fraud AI aren't manipulating markets is key. The focus is heavily on security, fraud prevention, and market integrity.
Different risks, different audit focus. Makes sense. And pharma.
Pharma and healthcare. Here, patient safety is absolutely paramount. So they follow things like the FDA's Good Machine Learning Practices, GMLP, for medical AI. They need continuous performance tracking, sometimes called algorithmovigilance. It's like monitoring drug side effects, but for algorithms. And of course, strict compliance with IPA for patient privacy, plus all the critical safety standards. An error here isn't just financial, it's a health risk.
It's fascinating how the same core principles get tailored. Fairness, transparency, accountability, but applied very specifically to each sector's unique risks and rules. So this deep dive really shows that AI auditing isn't just bureaucracy or compliance box ticking. It's fundamental to building AI we can actually trust. Safer, fairer, and ultimately better AI.
Exactly right. And when you do it properly, it doesn't actually slow you down. It does the opposite. It gives you the confidence to scale AI faster because you built in trust and managed the risks up front. It's about truly owning your AI, from the data it learns from, to how it thinks, to the decisions it makes, taking responsibility.
So as AI gets deeper into our lives, affecting our health, our finances, almost everything, here's something to think about. What new ways of holding AI accountable will we need? And what level of transparency will you start demanding from the AI systems you interact with every day?